You know what they offered us? What they were running? Sex, pornography. That's the kind of stuff they wanted to run.
Go to the smallest guy. Go to the hungriest guy. Go to the smallest ad network that's trying to prove itself.
They offer it at a high price because sex sells. We would make a lot of damn money for sure, but we would lose our audience. The people who are making the business decisions in China do not care about none of that shit. It's all a game that they control. They control every step of the way.
So this is a game changer. If you're making a contractual obligation, then it happens rather than waiting for people to do it on their own.
They lock the door, we change the code. Yeah. Bill Black, break locks, no handouts, we bought the block. Bill Black, take spice, no gatekeep, we run the lot. They shut the gate, we change the code, turn small ideas into overload. No commission, we on the flow. Independent, that CEO. Media says what I name it grade. Built the lane and paved the way. From the block, the boring plays on everything. Generational play, Bill Black, break chain. No cash given, we made our lane. Bill Black on everything.
And so marketing campaigns, it's all going to be social media.
And I think, and part of it is just really, as we talked about this too, some things people just don't know. They don't realize. They don't understand. Yeah. Until you said, you had to say it several times. So I admit, you had to say it several times.
Will.
Be consistent. Be consistent. The thing that was a game changer for me was Opus Clips. Because I went in, I put all my stuff in there, and I scheduled it out so that every day there's 2 or 3 clips coming from my show, and all of them are tagged BOD. So that keeps happening, that keeps getting generated. And it makes a difference. When I put stuff on Facebook, because that's, I get 10,000 people there. That's what keeps showing up. But you have to teach people to do that, and you have to tell them to do that. And if you can't teach them, then you make it inherent in the contractual obligation.
Yes.
100%. Yes. And I told this even with the small businesses that I'm working with, right? Yeah, this is great. You're going to be able to use these clips. When you use them, you have to reference as seen on Black on Demand TV. Yeah, because that keeps Black on Demand in the forefront. But it's also on intellectual property. So you got to put it out there. And this is a game changer. If you're making a contractual obligation, then it happens rather than, waiting for people to do it on their own. Some things I think you're just going to have to make sure it's happy so that it happens. Just people be aware. Just be aware. Well, people are aware, but they won't do it. But we're not aware that we have our own platform that is Black on Demand. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're like, what? People I'm talking to, yeah. You have our own platform? Yes, we're our own platform. Where we can, tell your story, your phone, your story. I'm excited. So they're excited. It just, because they're not really aware of this. They don't know it. They don't know that BOD is where it is that's giving this opportunity in time. So the excitement is there. They just don't know about it.
When we call people, like Patricia, when she calls people, they're excited. She reaches out to them on social media, they're excited. When I talk to them, they're super excited. So when people are made aware of what it is we do, they try to figure out how they can get involved. Or they just get involved, one way or the other. So we have to do a better job also of letting people know we even exist and what we do. I was in a meeting the other day with someone who's had a show with us from the beginning, their team was like, okay, so what can we do? I said, you have to put Black on Demand front and center of what it is that you all are putting out there about your content. And they have, but they wanted to know what else they can do. And you talk about us on your socials as well. So this has to be a concerted effort and now a requirement, anybody that's coming into the fold. And, we're still looking for all of those normal submissions, TV shows, people who've already shot content, people who've already got a movie. We're still looking for that because we still partner with Amazon Prime, Tubi, Awesome Network. There's about 30 others. We partner with those places because that drives revenue back to us. Now, something I want to share with you all that I shared with them the other night, the team that belonged to this show. I hadn't shared this publicly with anybody else. So I'm gonna share it here and where it goes, with us sharing the behind the scenes stuff. So we can run ads on Black on Demand like anybody else can. And people probably like, well, why aren't y'all running ads? Well, you understand that's controlled by, quote, ad networks, of which we don't own any. We don't own any ad networks. There's so many moving parts. So the ad networks decide what advertisements get streamed over what content and what networks. Do ad networks want to work with us? Hell yeah, they want to work with us. We got eyeballs, we got people. But they also know that in the streaming world, the traditional streaming world, that advertising is the bread and butter. So you got two things going on. If you don't want progress at a network, what do? You don't want that network to grow financially. What do? You either don't offer them any advertisements, right? So there's a control factor outside of us now. We figured out the other pieces that we can control, but they're still in control of some other part. That's the advertising. So either we come up with our own ads group and team, which we've been doing some of that with this branded TV, or what? Here's the alternative. They offer me ads. They offered them to us. The ads pay a lot of money that they offer to us. What I did, rather than turning the entire network over to this ad network, I said, we're only going to stream on certain content so I can monitor what ads y'all are running. Now, what kind of advertisements would you think is going to run on our content? What do you all think? Like what? Let's think about Tubi. What kind of ads they run on Tubi?
Commercials.
Just regular commercials. What kind of commercials?
Tracking stuff like women, babies.
Well, what kind of commercials? Tide washing detergent. Yeah. What kind of ads?
Fast food.
Restaurants. Wing places. That's what they run on Tubi. So why wouldn't they run that with us?
Yeah.
I mean, we're more the audience.
Yeah.
We're more the audience. You know what they offered us? What they were running? Sex. Oh, shit. Sex. Stuff related to sex. Vulgarity type shit. Sex ads. Sex sites. Pornography. That's the kind of stuff they wanted to run. The ad networks wanted to run on Black on Demand content. I'm like, I'm sitting there watching the Sandy Rogers show or watching Doc Fix My Plate. A holistic, two shows holistically, one dealing with mental health and one dealing with just food and nutrition in our community from a Black doctor. And I look up in that, it goes to commercial and here's something for making your penis bigger. Here's something for going to a sex site and a phone line, sex line. Here's something for some other vulgar, pornographic type of stuff. Those are the kind of ads they wanted to run on Black on Demand. Would that make Robin money for her show? Would that make you money for your show? Hell yeah, because those same ads pay a lot. But what would it do for us?
I mean, I look at what, I
that would drive our viewers away also.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would still change target audience.
Yeah, and I mean, no. Thank you for watching out for it.
I'm like,
That was the only thing they come up with?
this is all y'all got for us? Well, your viewership has to prove itself, and after you in the system for a while and we see that maybe these ads are not working, we change it up. It was kind of like this gradual, we'll change it up. But why would you even start out with that? I'm telling you, it's not gonna work. That's all y'all got for us.
We don't want it. How about that?
So that's, I'm sure people whose content that's been there, and I, our agreements that we share revenue with people, so people want to start seeing that revenue. But that is the reason why you haven't seen it, is because I just, out of my own integrity, refuse to go with that. Because what would you have done if you looked up and saw that on your content, on your show?
It doesn't.
That would just drive your audience away, and it just takes away from our integrity as a network. It's not who we are, but that's all they offered us. Those were the ads. I let them run the ads across, and I immediately stopped it, because that was the stuff you were seeing on the Sandy Rogers show. I used her show first. I was like, there's no damn way, and I hope nobody saw this. So they offer it at a high price because sex sells. We would make a lot of damn money for sure, but we would lose our audience. So would we really make a lot of money? We would lose everybody. They would be gone.
Yeah. And what was the reason for giving us?
That's what they had for us.
Because they're trifling.
That's all they had. That's all they had to give us. Based on your viewership, this is what we're going to start with. If something changes or we see another dynamic from your viewers, we would change it up. Yeah. So that's what happened. That's why. So I'm like, do I tell people this is what happened, or do I figure out a solution? Because I'm sure people are saying, why the hell are there no ads running on my shit? You said we was going to have ads. Oh, we got some ads for you, though, if you want them. But no, I couldn't let that happen. I stopped that. And I was like, okay. So looks like now we're going to have to try to figure out how to create our own ad network. How do we do this? And that's a big challenge. That's a big feat. So you two are going to have to help me figure out how we're going to solve this. And when your streaming channel is only so many years old, there's only certain ad networks that are going to work with you in the beginning. And then after the next several years, it's all a game that they control. They control it all, and they control every step of the way.
So, my thing is always go to the smallest guy. Go to the hungriest guy. Go to the smallest ad network that's trying to prove itself. And tell them, listen, you do right by us, we're going to continue to grow. Here's what our numbers look like. They grow with us, and we grow with them.
They know the numbers. I know. They already know that there's electronic ways that they monitor, or they wouldn't even talk to us.
There's got to be a smaller one.
We have to catch a new network, that new ads network that is not controlled by the dominant media companies out there, because a lot of them are buying those up. They're losing the content game, meaning they're losing viewers. People are not watching CBS, ABC, NBC like they used to. They're watching something else. So they're losing that. So they have big pockets. Most of those media companies are publicly traded. They can go raise $1 billion tomorrow if they wanted to. But they're losing viewers. So what are they doing now? Okay, well, we still going to stay in control. We're going to control the advertising. So they're buying up all the ad networks now. So they're still trying to maintain their control.
Stop building hype and start building black. It's time to learn how much your hustle is truly worth. Hustleworth is a free app designed to help you determine the exact value of your business or side hustle. Just answer a few questions, and our AI uses reliable valuation models used by top investment banks and venture capital firms. Get a clear understanding of exactly how much you could potentially cash out if you sold your brand today. It's a great way to see where you are and identify the exact gaps you need to fill to get to where you want to be. From side hustle to life-changing exit. That's the power of knowing your worth. Know your worth. Visit hustleworth.app and start building your legacy today.
And that has hurt us a lot because we have to monetize the network. We have to. So all of these other things, the branded TV and all of that, is helping us to monetize. That's why it's so important. Until we figure out how we're going to work around or find an ad network that is going to be fair to us, if there is even such a thing. So that's a big problem that we gotta solve. And my mind goes to work like, okay, how can I start my own ad network But the problem with that is the advertisers themselves, the big companies that advertise within those networks, pulling them into that and taking them away from stuff that they've gotten used to doing. Okay, so why we want to come to your network versus this? Because your network is only one television streaming channel. How many other channels do you go to? Because they want to be able to get the biggest bang for their buck.
Right.
They don't want to just go to one place. They want to go to another place. If we had 30 million viewers, subscribers, we got 200 million access to it, but we got 3 million, almost 4 million now that specifically have us as their apps dedicated on their devices. Everybody else can watch us in passing, but these people have made a dedicated, concerted effort that I want this on my device.
Okay.
And they know all of it.
So talking to that aspect as well, how do we drive those subscriptions? How do we drive those numbers up while we're thinking about all this other stuff?
You know, that's a part of my exhaustion from some of this. So I'm gonna put this out here for you all. How do we do it? Because, you know, I done built the bridge. I don't got some people to cross the bridge. I got water underneath the bridge. I don't need a whole lot at this point. I need the mind power of brilliant people like you all to help me move next. Because there are people who ask all of the time. We constantly say on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, coming to Apple TV and Samsung TV and all of that. And there's still this question, how do I watch? I went to Roku, how do I watch? Do you not pull down the other channels that you watch on Roku? Or do you just leave it? When you buy your Roku TV, when you get your Roku stick, do you just watch what's there? Or do you not add Netflix? You gotta add Netflix sometimes.
Yeah, but you know what? Some of this stuff you can't. Like, I had to go into Roku, and when I pulled up all the apps, VOD wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I had to go in and say, "Show me VOD," and it came up, and that's how I was able to add it. And it happened to me. It happened with my friend's house when I went to do that. It's like you have to.
It's a process.
It is a process.
Because we're not like an installed app, right. Meaning that when you buy the TV, it's there. Mm-hmm. We're not installed. Now, we was working on a deal with Moolah. Y'all ever heard of Moolah?
Yeah, I have it.
Moolah, they have tablets. And it was a government program that they were working with. And T.I. was invested in Moolah, for example. This brother, young brother, he came up with this idea to kind of get tablets in the hands of people. And so they had installed apps. They put all the regular, normal apps that everybody wants. You know, Netflix, all those, the mainstream apps. And so we were in a conversation to make our app a part of the regularly installed applications so that everybody that got a Moolah device, and this was a big program they were running under the Biden administration, you know, some of those dollars under, it was under Biden, but it was really under the act that kept everybody in rural America and urban America attached to the Obama phones and attached to communications and broadband and all of that. So it was a part of that act. And so Moolah fell apart. Something happened to them. They just went off the grid and shut down. I think they had some operational issues. I don't know if they're back up and running or what, but our conversations went to hell after they shut down. So we were going to be on every Moolah tablet, automatically installed. That's the kind of deal we need. We need a deal like that.
In order to,
so we just automatically be there. So nobody has to go looking for it. So we need to think of a way to get that kind of a deal. And you know what I'm thinking? Who?
Am I too media loud?
I'm open to looking in all directions. But keep in mind, in order for an app to come installed, it really comes down to who's manufacturing the equipment. That's at a manufacturer's level. All of these companies like Google and all that, these are all agreements that they have when somebody makes a tablet that they put Chrome on it automatically. And then if you buy a Microsoft device, Chrome is not there automatically because Microsoft put their own stuff there.
Yeah.
But you can add it, but it's so popular, everybody knows who Chrome is, so they automatically just add it. So we need Black on Demand to become so household that they just automatically add it. But the real immediate solution is to do that, the awareness, getting that out. The second thing is we need to find a deal. I was thinking about TCL. There's a Chinese manufacturer that manufactures smart TVs.
Yeah.
TCL. Roku may be a little bit out of reach with the manufacturing side. But these Chinese companies,
Does TCL make a Roku TV?
they make a smart TV that's a Roku branded TV. Roku bought all that out. But TCL is still a company. Roku wanted to control all that. They didn't want TCL controlling the TV manufacturing anymore. So somehow Roku started making their own TVs.
But wouldn't it be easier to partner with the Chinese company?
That's where I was getting ready to go. They make all of the cheap smart devices out there. And I think that might be a solution for us. That's why I want to go over to Vietnam. Because Vietnam manufactures TVs. I want to go to China. I used to have a relationship in China manufacturing clothes. We get a relationship with a manufacturer and they automatically, when they ship those products out and people buy them, it's already there.
I'm trying to think of who I know in China.
I had some real strong relationships in the clothing business in China at one time. Did I tell you I had a clothing line with Boris Kojo? I told y'all that, didn't I?
What?
Boris Kojo, the actor. And Boris Kojo and I, we were partners in a clothing line. I don't talk to him because of the way business went. But we had a lot of Chinese manufacturers. He wasn't the original person that I was partnering with. He came in later. He was brought in later because he was the black star of the hour. And my partners thought that he was going to do a lot by coming on board and bringing clothing to the black community in the way. That was an epic fail. I told them that Boris didn't connect with the black community as a whole. He connected with black women.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to listen to me. But anyway, that all fell apart. But during that relationship with the clothing line, my business partners was two young white guys. One was from Germany, one was from Turkey. And they had relationships with manufacturers over in China. And the same people who made Bally shoes, that same exact plant, like these Chinese companies are showing, they got mad at America and started showing where Louis Vuitton and all these people, all that shit's true. Because we were in one of the same factories that made Bally shoes, Louis Vuitton bags, and Armani suits. We used the same materials that Armani used to make their suits because theirs was manufactured a couple of floors over from ours. And that company the owners of that factory was so cool with one of my partners, they just let us use their materials. We used the same materials and charged $100 for the suit. And it was an Armani suit. And we were selling the hell out of that shit.
Well,
online.
Yeah, they want to work with us.
They do.
They want to work with us. So I think
we need to find a manufacturer, electronics manufacturer that makes tablets, computers, phones, and cut a deal some kind of way. And this is the climate to take advantage of it. This is the time that we probably can get it done now. Because at the time when I first started this, and then Moolah was my only option at that time. But I definitely was like, okay, we need to revisit this. And this is going to require real networking and communication with these other companies in these other countries. Right now, everybody is pissed at America. But we can get Black on Demand on these devices. We're just going to have to find a deal some kind of way to do it. China, all of them. The Vietnamese are starting making cars. The Vietnamese are doing all kinds of stuff quietly, should I say, not quietly, because we don't get the news from over there. But anyway, that would be our ideal solution. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, what do? That's our ideal solution. We need to work on that. However, I don't think it's going to be hard for us to do it now. It was hard previously because of people's relationships with American companies and manufacturing and the cost of being able to have those kind of things happen. I think we can do it, but we got to have a what's in it for them kind of situation. What's in it for us? That way you get to the consumer at the same time that the Netflix gets the consumer, that the Amazon Prime gets the consumer. Amazon Prime. Everybody has their apps on these devices. Now, Netflix, they don't put Netflix on everything anymore now. They don't put Amazon Prime on everything anymore now. They used to.
Why?
Because there's a conflict. There's obviously an agreement conflict, the reason they don't add them in. Roku had a problem somewhere with Netflix because Netflix does not come automatic on a Roku TV now. On a new Roku TV, depending on the manufacturer, different people manufacture Roku TVs too. Roku has their own manufacturing, and other people like OUI, there's a new, I think they're out of Vietnam. They're either out of Vietnam or China. They're a small television manufacturer. They don't put their app on there automatic. You can search for it in the streaming store, like you can go there and search for our app. It's the streaming store where you can find our app. It's not the app part of the store. The app part of the store is gonna have all the popular apps. They just don't automatically put them on the TV if they don't have agreements with them. But you can go to the app store and find them. To find us, you have to go to the channel store. Us and any other independent streaming network, you're gonna have to go there. The channel store. Same with Fire TV, which is even more complicated.
So that's the goal. The idea is to be on there.
To automatically be on there when they get their device. They go to Walmart, they order something online, they buy something on Amazon. We need to automatically be on that device.
And you say that, what's in it for us?
We got to answer that question. What's in it for them? Can we drive people to go buy those devices? Can we bring them more customers? Can we make them the Black brand?
I was just about to say that. That would be the thing to do. The Black artists. Put the data out there. Who's the biggest percentage? You get the consumer, the money.
Instead of boycotting Target, which is a waste of time in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Because I understand we just want to do something. We don't always know what is the right thing to do, so we just want to do something. So I understand people that want to do something, but that was just, it had no end game. What's the point? What are we going to gain out of this? We boycott them and then what? We're going to make them bring DEI back? I mean, what's our end game here?
You're not going to hit their bottom line.
It didn't hurt their bottom line because all it did was hurt us. Because you know what they did? Target just removed all these Black products from their damn stores. We hurt everybody that was already there. Oh, y'all ain't coming? Okay. No problem for us.
And, the thing I kept trying to tell people is y'all don't understand that there are contracts that Black businesses have with Target.
Absolutely. We hurt those people.
Our GO and all these government educational contracts and everything else that are going to get put out of work.
Those people got hurt.
You have connections to the celebrity world, right?
Yeah.
So Chinese, they say what's in it for us. They use the celebrity status to target their product.
Let me tell you something. About Chinese business people. Money, honey. They don't give a fuck about your celebrities over there.
They don't.
They do not give a fuck. They give a fuck about the Chinese people care about seeing the celebrities. The people who are making the business decisions in China do not care about none of that shit. Only we care about that shit in America. They do not care about this shit.
When the first administration, the first Trump administration, if you remember correctly, his daughter and her husband went over there.
Should I stop it and restart it?
No.
Went over there to build some hotel, Trump, something or other, something else, and they started offering golden visas to everybody. I don't know how many of them they sent, but they couldn't come up with enough money to be in there. They got shut down, and then they got shut down. I don't know if it was our government or their government that was like talking about corruption and something else. They shut them down.
All I know is they do not care about that.
And those people,
That's the problem with the Trump administration in China. They would not bend to him and his family.
they got
And they hotels and their resorts because they love to go to countries where they can manipulate people and use people for nothing and run and control stuff. And they wouldn't get ready to do that in China. Chinese people let Apple come over there and manufacture. They thought they was getting over on the Chinese people. They was just learning what they was doing. Okay, y'all make it in our factories, pay us $2. We'll agree to those contracts. Because what did they do? They got whole Apple stores that ain't even owned by Apple. Apple was like, we didn't even have a store in China. How is there even an Apple store in China before they finally put one? The Chinese people created their own, a whole Apple store.
Same thing with Tesla. When he used the manufacturer over there, stole their idea and made a better car.
And they didn't steal his idea because he stole Tesla from Tesla. He stole Tesla. He stole it from Mr. Tesla and named the company after somebody else whose idea it was. And it wasn't a work for hire situation. He just outright stole that man's technology and used politics to devalue him and make everybody think he was crazy. Made Tesla think everybody think Tesla was crazy. So you can stop it now because we ain't nothing to get into us now.
They lock the door, we change the code. Yeah. Bill Black, break locks, no handouts, we bought the block. Bill Black, take spice, no gatekeep, we run the lot. They shut the gate, we change the code, turn small ideas into overload. No commission, we own the flow. Independent, that CEO. Media said what I name me grade. Built the lane and paid the way. From the block, the boring plays on everything. Generational play. Bill Black, break chain. No cash given, we made our lane. Bill Black on everything.